Ladies and gentlemen, this is Hollywood Joe from Hollywood's World of Sports, coming to you today with another edition of Hollywood's Hot Topics. Over the last week, I have seen a lot of crazy things going on in sports. And unfortunately, none of them have to do with the actual sporting event themselves. Uh, it actually has to do with fan behavior. So in the last week, we've had one guy throw popcorn on Russell Westbrook. We've had one fan spit on Trae Young in Madison Square Garden. And now we have a fan throwing a water bottle at Kyrie Irving. Now, that's not the only thing either. In baseball last week, when the Houston Astros and Los Angeles Dodgers were playing, there were multiple fights in the stands between the two sets of fans. And it's not the first time it's happened this year. There's been multiple fights in the stands at baseball games. And so, I've been sitting here thinking about this for a couple of weeks now, since the first fight that happened with, I believe it was a Padres fan, and I forget who else it was, but there was a fight in the stands a couple weeks ago that got pretty nasty. I understand, as sports fans, people think that just because they buy a ticket, that means they can do whatever they want. I hate to break it to you, that's not the case. If you buy a ticket to a sporting event, you can cheer, you can boo, you can go to concessions, you can buy souvenirs, you can make as much noise as you want. But the minute you start throwing objects at an athlete, the minute you get physical with other fans, or even if you say inappropriate things to the athletes about their ethnicity or their family or something of that nature, to me, you should be banned for life. There is no excuse for the type of fan behavior that's been going on the last few weeks. And I'm sure it's going on. It's been going on a lot longer than just the last couple of weeks. But fortunately, in this case, everybody has a cell phone nowadays, and we can make things go viral and, out people if we have to. So, I will say this, at least technology is being used for good in that way. I mean, I remember back in the mid 90s, when the NWO was first getting started in WCW, and fans would just litter the ring full of debris. I mean, bottles, plastic cups, you name it. Like, they would litter the ring full of debris. And, back then, people thought it was cool. People thought it was awesome. But, unfortunately, we live in a different time and place in the world now. And you would have thought that fans would have learned their lesson after the Malice at the Palace back in 2004, when somebody threw something at Ron Artest, and Ron Artest ended up going into the stands, which then caused one of the worst events in sports history to happen. And yes, I'm not going to lie, I thought it was pretty entertaining, but it was also something that should have never happened. It really should have never happened, guys. We don't need another incident like that. And You know, Russell Westbrook has a temper. Kyrie Irving has a temper. And who knows? Next time somebody throws something at them, security might not be fast enough to stop what's going on. And to add fuel to the fire, Charles Barkley made a really stupid comment. And he said something to the effect that, a player should be able to go up into the stands and punch one fan per game. I think that's what he said, something along those lines. I'm sorry, but Charles, you said a lot of dumb things in your time, but that might be the dumbest thing you've ever said. A player going into the stands to defend himself will just make matters 1,000 times worse. So no, players should not be going into the stands and attacking fans. That is what security is for. That is what law enforcement is for. So this is something that's been on my mind recently. Just, it seems like every other day I see a video pop up on social media with a fan throwing something at an athlete or fans in the stands fighting each other. It just gets kind of ridiculous. So that's just something that's been on my mind recently, and I'm just curious to hear your thoughts on it. So let me know what you're thinking. Let me know how you feel about this situation. Would love to get your feedback. So with that being said, again, this is Hollywood Joe from Hollywood's World of Sports. Be sure to check me out on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Reddit, Instagram. You name it on social media, I'm probably there. Be sure to check out HollywoodsWorldOfSports.com as well. And remember, controversy doesn't come without criticism.